All right, good Wednesday morning. Thanks for checking out this Iowa forecast update here. You can see this line of snow. This is going to continue to work its way to the east here as we go through the morning here, but eventually it will be making its way into the state. Looking at current temperatures across the state this morning, you can see 30s starting to work into northwest Iowa, otherwise 40s and 50s, especially across southern Iowa. And then as we look at latest watch warning advisory map here, we can see a blizzard warning back across northwest Iowa in the orange shaded area, winter weather advisory in the center here, and then there's a winter storm warning here in southwest Iowa, which is we're expecting some snow, not a lot of snow though, but the wind is definitely going to make a huge issue in basically all areas that are going to see snow here. Wind advisory in those tan shaded areas. And then of course, I wanted to show you the last 4 runs of the NAM computer model from yesterday, because this is what leads to the changes that you've seen in other sources overnight. We didn't really change our forecast as such. However, I've seen a lot of other sources that, the data has changed based off their forecast. It really was no big change. What happened was the system slowed down, the low pressure system moved south, and I saw this yesterday morning, and this is kind of why I wasn't super confident with the forecast. I kind of gave you an idea and drew up a map of a snowfall forecast, but we didn't actually make a snowfall map yesterday, and that was mostly because of this reason exactly. So this was the 06 ZNAM, what it came in overnight yesterday. This is by yesterday morning. This is as you went to see yesterday afternoon, and this is by last night. You could see how things progressively changed throughout the day. So now that I think we do have a handle on it here as we go through the morning here, looking at the forecast radar, I think we're going to start working in some snow across northwest Iowa as we get into that 8-9 o'clock time frame. It's probably going to be between 8 and 9, closer probably to 9. And then as you get into about 10, 11, and then by about noon today, you can see northwest Iowa getting in on a fair amount of snow here as we kick off the morning, and then going through a different model just to kind of give you a perspective here, because it just seems like the starting of the progression of the snow is getting handled a little bit better from another model versus as we go into the afternoon, this model seems to be handling that side of the solution better. So as we go into the afternoon here, this is by about noon. You can see some rain showers off into northeast, eastern Iowa. Snow definitely back into western Iowa as we get into about 2 o'clock, 3, 4, and then we go into about 5, 6 p.m. this evening. You can see that very sharp cutoff here. So you're going to go from having snow to no snow. And then by about 7 p.m., 8, 9, 10, and then you go through about 11 p.m., midnight, and then through about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 a.m. And still wouldn't rule out maybe the chance for a few flurries across eastern Iowa as you wake up Thursday morning in those areas, just because the system is not going to be quite far enough to the east, and there's still going to be a little bit of energy to maybe squeeze out some flurries or a brief snow shower here Thursday morning across eastern Iowa. Otherwise, things are then going to shift farther to the east, and then we'll look at our wind forecast as we go through the day today. This is by about 6 a.m. We kind of drag it through roughly 7, 8 o'clock. You can see by 7, 8 o'clock as that snow is beginning to enter northwest Iowa, that northwesterly strong wind is going to be driving in with it. This is by right around 9 a.m. You go through about 10, 11, and then by about noon, you can see those northwesterly winds, gusts up there. These are wind gusts, by the way, about 35 to 45 miles per hour. Some areas hatched around 50 miles per hour. You go through about 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m. You can see the afternoon, probably the best bet to see those higher, strong gusts, especially across the northwestern part of the state, where I think maybe 50 to maybe even 55, maybe even closer to 60 miles per hour. I would not rule that out here across the northwestern part of the state. So yeah, definitely a blizzard on tap here as we go through the day. And then looking at the temperatures as we go through the day as well, temperatures continue to fall as we go through the morning. This is by about noon today. You can see temperatures in the teens and 20s across western Iowa, still dealing with 40s and 50s farther to the east due to this front. And then as you get through about 3, 4 p.m. this afternoon, definitely down there in the single digits across northwest Iowa, 30s, 40s off to the east. And then as we go in the overnight period tonight, things will continue to cool down. We'll be waking up Christmas Eve to some of us below 0, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. But I wanted to show you the latest proprietary guidance here, our in-house model, just kind of showing you the overall idea. And, I really think this is handling it really well. as we push forward. So as we look at the latest thinking right now, this is kind of what we've drawn up. We're thinking 2 to 6 inches across northwest Iowa. Very, very sharp cutoff as you get towards about places like Mason City. I think it's going to be just a hair west of there. Fort Dodge, and then the same deal with Denison and Mason City. You're just going to be on that sharp cutoff of a trace to 2 to 6. And then in those lighter blues, you're talking a trace to 2 all the way into eastern Iowa, just because a lot of you here are going to see some snow showers. Probably not a ton, but probably just enough that I think some of you will see a light dusting out of that. As we look at low temperatures later on tonight, we're looking at single digits, even some areas below 0 across northwest and north central Iowa. And then highs on Christmas Eve, definitely in the single digits, teens, maybe a few lower 20s. Christmas Day, though, maybe 30s off to the west, 20s off to the east. And then we just kind of continue that trend as we get into the weekend. 30s, 20s, that's about really it. And then back into the cooler trends as we get into early next week, looking at teens and 20s once again. So it does look like these cooler temperatures are here to stay. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Have a great day.